Greetings and salutations everyone, this is Walpurgis Knight. So, I do have all the missions completed now. In a single turn, inflict 6 different types of negative effects on a single enemy. Doing this solo is surprisingly difficult, and let's go over why. Sure, let's just take the nice looking banner, but... So here's the thing that I found while experimenting. For some reason, specific status effects weren't being counted. And I think I actually know why. So in my calculations, things like Bind and Ishmael's slash fragility next turn, I was using those as counting up how many I have. And now I realize that it says this turn. I think it doesn't count effects that come from next turn. It doesn't count next turn's status effects, so things get a bit messier. At the moment I have 2 ideas and I'm going to run a third one by you right now. So first of all, Lobotomy Ego Solemn Lament Yiseng is good, but he's not good enough because he inflicts sinking and he inflicts butterfly. That's nice. But that's the only thing that he can inflict with his base. So, if you look at his ego, yeah, all of this is just sinking and bind. Bind, which we've already mentioned, doesn't count. If you use Wishing Can, you can get Sloth Fragility and Paralyze. Or you can go for Corrosion. Assuming that the unique sinking and the standard sinking count as the same thing, that means we have 4 at the moment. And then you can have Dimensional Rift, which makes 5. And maybe Rupture from his passive as well, which makes 6. And then, if you corrode Sun Shower, that gives you Sloth Fragility and Pierce Fragility. The Sloth Fragility overlaps with the Wishing Can, so that's just an extra 1. You'd think that means that this all adds up properly, and yet for some reason it didn't when I ran it, so I think that I think status effects passed on by other people in their passives don't count as well? I don't know, it's weird but it looks like it should work, and yet it just doesn't. Third spinning... Yeah, he doesn't... I guess if you corrode his Dimension Shredder, then it also gives Rupture. The problem is that you just won't have enough Gluttony left over. So if you corrode this, it costs 5. Corrode this, it costs 3. So you need 8 Gluttony to do it. And given that he has the Team Captain buff, it means you basically get 1 Gluttony left over. You'd have to be very careful with it, and I still feel like somewhere in here is something that just doesn't count, so unfortunately we can't use that. What about Ring Sang? This is a lot better. Inflict 2 count for one of the following effects: Burn, Bleed, Rupture, or Sinking. Effects selected at random. Inflict 1 bleed count and 3 count for Burn, Bleed, Tremor, Rupture, or Sinking. Inflict 3 count of any of the randoms, inflict 2 potency of any of the randoms, and then if target is staggered or defeated, then basically what we're saying here is that in his base skills alone he has 5 different effects, and he also has guaranteed bleed, so that's a really nice starting point. Then he gets sinking from Bygone Days. Guaranteed sinking, but it technically doesn't overlap. He definitely gets Sloth Fragility, probably Paralyze. Corroded to definitely get both. So that's 7. Dimension Rift, 8. Sun Shower Corrosion, 9. For some reason, I only got this quest while doing it with Pointless Yiseng, so there must be something weird about this system that they're just not doing right. Now, here's the problem. -2 identity level. +2. there is a very big difference between the Solemn Lament and the Pointillism IDs trying to pick a fight, because when you're doing with Solemn Lament, all you have to worry about is getting 2 skill 3 on the first turn, or your enemies being mercifully non-aggressive, shall we say. That's not the case for Ring Pointless. You need to get both skill 3 on the first turn, you need to get lucky enough to kill or stagger your target, and then you need your other 2 enemies to be feeling very merciful. Because... and then you have to survive long enough to... Oh. The thing that I am saying is, Yi Sang needs them to not stagger him so he can use Wishing Can. Because Wishing Can actually gives him blunt protection each turn, and he is going to need it. And even then, this ID just isn't as strongly... This ID just doesn't have as strong an opener, so you're still going to have a bit of mess here and there. You also can't use Crow's Eye View. I need to stress that, because Crow's Eye View makes him fatal to Envy. You're already fatal to Blunt, you really don't need them getting quadruple damage instead of double damage. Which is unfortunate because it does give attack power down, but Between the two, Wishing Can is better than 4th Match Flame because this has 2 statuses versus this one. But yeah, basically you get up to the final round, you corrode Sun Shower, and then probably Wishing Can as well. I guess if you had resources to spare you could also corrode Dimension Shredder, but it doesn't matter if you overload them, if you unsafely overload them, that's fine. Heck, even if it corrodes him, it's fine because then he'll just start spamming very strong attacks and it won't be targeting anyone but the boss. But it's just really messy to work with. My plan B is actually Gregor here. Now let's go over why. So first of all, his base is just... his base skills are just sinking. There's nothing particularly unique there. But the advantage he has is that he is blunt ineffective. This means that they actually have a very low chance of staggering. Well, I won't say very low. And also he is -4 defense level, but he's at least ineffective enough that he's less likely to get staggered than Pointless Yi Sang. But now we get into the ego. If you corrode Legodomain, 4 bleed, 4 paralyze, 6 maggots. So that's 3 already. Bygone Days gives sinking air, but if you corrode it, it gives gloom fragility and curse. So now we're up to 5. Solemn Lament gives him butterflies, which is probably nice. It's not a good clashing skill, so you have to make sure it takes a shot one-sided. But it's still something cool, because the butterflies might count as a different status effect. But then again, they might not. Don't quote me on that. So, just a reminder. 4, 5, 6, maybe 7? Garden of Thorns is where it gets good though. If you corrode it, target randomly, gain highest resonance attack weight, inflict damage down, bind next turn, which I'm pretty sure doesn't count. Fragility and power down for the sin with the highest resonance count. Now that's where it's good, because now we have 3 here, 2 here, and 3 here. So that's definitely more than your numbers going for. Anyway, just to make sure, I've picked out a bunch of passives that'll be decent for this. So, Yi Sang, his passive is, when hitting a target with sinking, convert it into butterfly. That's good. You have the passive of, if the target does not have SP, inflicts more sinking potency and count. which is going to be good if we use the butterflies. But even if it isn't, it's good for him because he likes sinking, but he's bad at generating it. Ishmael gives us extra damage on sinking targets. Don Quixote gives us bonus power should we achieve Gloom Resonance. Forced, I don't know whether she counts for the achievement, but she gives offense level down with attacks at 25% chance. Every little bit helps. Since we're using an Envy character, I decided that it would actually be handy for us to use Lobcore Ryoshu here, because every little bit of HP and SP helps. Mersault is giving us a use for Sloth by reducing damage that we take. I did have you as your standard identity because you give out 6 SP for free each turn. At 5 Sloth though. However, this is a Gloom heavy setup. If the target is in a staggered or defeated state by an attack with the least SP, heal 7 SP. So this is basically just free healing for staggering people. That one's actually worth. Other options could be for Tintang Honglu because the extra damage. No use for his K-Core. Probably not useful on Kurokumo because we don't have that much in the way of bleed. Well, actually no. 4 owned. Highest speed inflicts 1 bleed. So I guess technically that works, but I've got better things to use. Encore Rodian. Actually a decent pick because she gives out haste and damage up to the ally with the most SP when an enemy is defeated. Enemies will be defeated, which means we will be getting the haste and damage up. And I don't see an awful lot else that I might want. Low speed deals slash damage. I guess he is slash focused. Most HP deals extra damage to enemies using defense skills. This might actually be worth bringing in if you don't have any better options. We aren't poised, so we don't have any use for Zwei. Base ID is extra damage with heads coins, so always nice. No use for the burn. We don't have Tremor, so no use here. Dicey is ally with the highest max HP gains blunt damage based on damage they took. We aren't using blunt attacks here, so that's no good, and I think that... yeah, that's just Tremor Burst stuff. I'm going to stick with Encore simply because... I mean, the extra haste might help. Sinclair, you have options here. If he uses Way ID, then it gives less damage taken, which is nice. We aren't using Pride skills, so no use for Blade Lineage. Lost Mariachis. Dealing extra damage for having Gloom is not bad. The thing is, you don't want too much extra damage, otherwise you won't get to actually inflict the status effects. This is a Pride Resonance, yeah, so we don't want that. This requires Wrath, I remember clearly, so not that, and this helps out blunt damage. I think I'll stick with Zwei there. And finally, we do have some options. This is not a good one because the enemies don't have SP. This isn't any use because we aren't using charge. It could work, but not particularly for me. Heal SP when defeating an enemy with bleed. The thing is, we don't have any guarantee the enemies will have bleed. One ally with the most SP deals 10% damage with ego skills. It could be helpful, but the thing is, this is Pride Resonance and we won't have Pride. Deal bonus damage against targets with a type they're weak or fatal to. Alright. But I think the thing that I actually want to use is Corroded, because randomly gaining 1 attack, 1 defense, or 1 protection, 2 out of 3 of these are good for us, so I'm gonna stick with that. And with all that said, let's go. The downside is, because he's focused on lust attacks, on slash attacks I mean, he's going to have trouble with the one type they're not weak to is slash, unfortunately. Alright, so let's have a look. What effects do we want to get hit by the least? Oh, why did you have to flip tails twice? So yeah, this is a problem. It's not guaranteed to screw us over, but it's still not doing well. One, 2, 3. Now the thing is, you're going to die.
검나를 내게 바쳐주지. 엽성의 전투에 명예 따위를 기대하고 있는 건 아니겠지.
Bad first turn, but we are still sort of holding together.
검나를 내게 바쳐주지. 여기가 엽석이군. 이제 하늘을 찔렀을 엽석이군.
Ooh, this is getting very tight, isn't it? I am recording. kind of weird that we only got... I guess it's not that weird. Okay, yeah, I now remember, we definitely want to use Bygone Days as soon as possible because of the passive. Wait, no. The passive. After a target is defeated after this unit's attack, gain 1 extra ego resource. We want those extra ego resources. For every 5 singing potency on the and count on the target, we get extras. But yeah, the point is... It also gives him envy, but... Solemn Lament also gives him envy resistance, which would be very nice to have, but
택을 안내해주지. 가엾고 슬픈 아이들이고 그저 에도를 배울 수.
Ooh, that's a lot of damage.
공격은 다른 팀에게도 보여줘야겠어요. 분명 배울 점이 많을 거예요.
겁나를 네게 바쳐주지. 여기가 엽서일걸. 이제 하늘을 찔렀을 뿐.
관리자님, 클리포드 폭주 게이지가 한 칸 남았어요. 곧 자색 정오의 시련이 올 거예요.
Let's not go in too far yet. Inflict the amount of burn, bleed, rupture, sinking, or tremor inflicted by one, including unique status effects. Increase the amount of poise or charge or unique charge or a need to. On kill, gain +2 ego resource of that affinity and +1 to all others. So yeah, you do ramp up pretty quickly, but you also need to be able to survive this nonsense.
여기가 엽서일걸.
너희도 이번 역경을 헤쳐나가기
Right, that's the nuke, and that's the nuke. I should have thought that over a bit.
비록 그 과정에서 희생이 나올 수 있겠지만 내가 세피라로서 너희가 죽지 않도록 도와줄.
No, we have to save it. So I think this... Alright, fingers crossed.
내게 바쳐주지. 엽서일걸. 이제 보자.
Oh.
하늘을 찔렀을 뿐. 가엾고 슬픈 아이들. 그저 에더를 피웠어.
제압 개체에게 큰 피해를 준 것
I
같아.
think that you could do, if you don't want Force's offense level down, you could use Butler Force, because she actually restores quite a bit of SP every time you hit a target with enough sinking, and I think that the butterflies will count for that. We return to the training team halls.
지금까지 배워왔던 것들과 비교.
Let's get the health back.
물리 간섭 보호장에 직원들이 보호해 주었어요. 재생로가 복구되어서 정말 다행이네요.
What does this one say? Alright, 24, so that would actually be worth it, because it can clash better, but... Now here's the downside. The order is not in our favor.
검날 내게 바쳐주지. 어쩌라다. 집사들은 어디 있는 거지? 이놈이 알고 있잖아. 당장 안 돼.
Oh, it's going to be Gloom Fragility here. Oh well.
그 믿음은 헛된 바람일 뿐이잖아. 내가 놓고 그저 편지. 이봐, 버틸 자신 있어? 손들지 마! 이 동거를 풀어내려 하지 마. 그게 모든 거야. 여기가 엽석이군.
좋은 대응은 아니지만 안 하는 것보다는 훨씬 나았을 거야. 다음엔 좀 더 신경 써보자.
It's targeting randomly, so it's proving very hard to shut down the right attacks.
손들지 마! 이 동굴을 풀어내려 하지 마. 그게 도는 거야. 손들지 마!
If only this enemy was dealing less damage, then we could at least get the less damage down effect down on it. But it is getting lust fragility, so it is actually going up each time.
손들지 마! 이 동굴을 풀어내려 하지 마. 그게 도는 거야.
저희 직원들이 개체의 부위를 파괴했어요. 역시 미리 훈련하길 잘했죠?
And we have no resources left to fall back on. Oh dear.
겁나 내게 받쳐주지. 여기가 뱃속이군.
Yeah, I think the Honglu base passive is actually better because your problems with SP are more likely to start here, where you don't have enemies to break on anymore.
너희도 이번 역경을 헤쳐나가기만 하면
Deal 100 damage is going to hurt a lot.
비록 그 과정에서 희생이 나올 수 있겠지만 내가 세키라로서 너희가 죽지 않도록 도와줄게.
I'm now wondering, okay, how the heck did I do this the first time?
겁나 내게 받쳐주지. 여기가 뱃속이군. 여기가 뱃속이군. 이제 보자.
I think I got lucky. So yeah, a bit of a long episode there, and I kind of want to make it longer.
최후의 결투는 아직 멀었어. 축배를 댈 여유는 없지.
51 damage didn't feel that bad, but oh boy, by the end of it you're really sweating bullets. So let's have another look at this. I want to know if I could maybe use Arcor Merceau for this. It doesn't look good on his base skills because we're very reliant on either Blunt Envy or Slash Gloom Slash Lust. There's some weakness, but as you saw back there, some weakness isn't quite enough to get through, and 0 offense level isn't so bad, I guess. But anyway, let's have a look at this. So, on his base skill, he can inflict bind and attack power down next turn, but oh, right, we established that doesn't count. Inflict 2 tremor count and absolute resonance. He doesn't have wrath skills, but the fact that it is at least giving us tremor count does make it worth there a little bit. And then we have Capote, which is burn, tremor burn. Yeah, this gives us burn, so that's not so bad. We don't have any other options there, so let me think this over. We can inflict bleed, tremor, burn. That's only 3. Oh well, my idea already isn't working, so I'll have to go back to the drawing board on this, but I feel like there should be other people able to get that achievement. So until next time, guys, take care. I'll see you all around.